Jessica Frost Ballas here with a video for lawnfawn. Today I'm pulling lots of images from my lawnfawn collection to create this seasonal collage featuring winter birds, so let's get started. First, I've die cut the foursquare backdrop landscape die from white cardstock, and then cut 4 rectangles slightly larger than the opening of the foursquare die. I'll be ink blending my seasonal backgrounds and then die cutting them from the foursquare backdrop landscape die afterwards to get that pretty stitch detail. I also die cut 4 hills from the stitched hillside border dies. For my spring scene, I blend tumbled glass distress oxide ink very lightly over the cloudy stencil to create a cloud-filled sky. Then I blend cracked pistachio onto the first hill. I put a little loop of temporary adhesive behind each cardstock piece to keep them in place while blending. I ended up a little out of order here, but next I blend antique linen onto the hill for a summer panel. Then I blend seedless preserves, abandoned coral, and dried marigold distress oxide ink to create the sky for my fall scene. I blend dried marigold and abandoned coral on the hill as well. For winter, I blend blueprint sketch and chipped sapphire distress oxide ink onto the panel. I left the hill white to create a snowbank. Finally, I blend the summer panel using the Ocean Wave stencil with Salty Ocean and blueprint sketch distress oxide ink. Next, it's time to color all my images. I stamp the apple barrel from Apple-solutely Awesome and a bird from Flappy Holiday. Lots of images from winter birds and tree before and afters. The Christmas lights from Furry and Bright and the coconut drink from On the Beach. And finally, the falling leaves from Let's Go Nuts and the palm tree and starfish from Life is Good. I stamp all the images on white cardstock with Copic-friendly black ink. I used my favorite E70s for all the trees and B20s for the blue jays, and then vary colors for the rest of the accompanying images. Depending on the size of the image, I either start with my lightest shade first and then add my darkest shade before blending back out to the lightest, or I just start with the darkest and blend out to the lightest. I try to make sure that the images I'm coloring mostly match the color schemes for each seasonal blended panel. I've skipped some of the coloring here, but can share the Copic markers I'm using if there's anything you're wondering about. Once I finish coloring, I die cut all the images with the coordinating dies. Next, I adhere the stitch hills to each blended background panel. Unfortunately, I should have kept my sandy hill a little lower so you could see more of the waves, but I think it works okay. Then I turn over the foursquare backdrop landscape die and temporarily tape each rectangle to the die. I run that through my die cutting machine to get the pretty stitch detail. Due to the thicker layers, it doesn't cut all the way through the double layer, but it's easy enough to trim the edges with scissors. I adhere the white stitched foursquare piece to a panel of white cardstock and add adhesive in each window. Then I puzzle piece in each seasonal background. I arrange all my images onto each panel and then start adhering them with a mix of HG adhesive and liquid glue. Off camera, I stamp a sentiment from Winter Birds and trim it down to thin labels. After all the images are adhered, I use my Make Art station to help me line up the sentiments in the center of the rectangles and adhere them with foam mounting tape. Finally, I add accents with a white gel pen and Nouveau Crystal Glaze to finish the card. I was going for the look of one of those holiday cards you get in the mail that have a collage of all the things the family did over the year. And based on this finished card, I think these birds had quite a fun year. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe to the Lawnfawn channel for even more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, have a fantastic day and happy crafting.